Imagine.
Many thanks for keeping us company, and if you just tuned in, it is Discussion Monday, and tonight here we are looking at road safety. And before we took that break, we had looked at a few areas where motorists go wrong. And just a reminder, with me in studio is Michael Kabuthia. He's a driver. He's helping us to understand what does it call to be a good driver, because indeed good roads don't make a good driver. And now we want to look at a few areas, regulations that NTSA was proposing. If someone is sick with diabetes, Michael, they will not be allowed to have a driving license. Just how does this go with a Kenyan who runs his normal life, and maybe a driver who just acquired diabetes and they have nothing else to do?
Ideally, a car is a machine that is controlled by a human being. And if you're diabetic or you're sick, say you're sick and you're not in your 100% state to drive a vehicle, their chances are that, especially if it is diabetes and your sugar spikes and it goes down, you become weak. Assuming you're driving and you become weak, or you lose consciousness, or you need to have your insulin shot, your concentration now moves from driving that vehicle to trying and keeping your your body in check. So it interferes with the normal flow of driving a vehicle. I know it is going to be a harsh say it's going to be very harsh for drivers, but somehow I think it's best. If you're not feeling well, please keep off the road.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Now, with 3 months to the end of the year, there has been a 7% increase in fatal accidents compared to last year. And it was said like 2017 was the year of so many deaths, and some 2,214 people have died between January and September of this year, compared to 2017 where we lost 2,053 people. This is quite serious, and some of this may be contributed to mechanical problems or human negligence. And let's look at this one area, the human negligence of drivers, both PSVs and personal cars. What should be done?
Number one, safety is personal. I would give an example of every day you wake up, there's a system you follow. After waking up, guys prepare, have their breakfast, go to work, spend the whole day at work, come back home and sleep. What happens is, when you're starting your day, it is very important for you to check whether your vehicle is in good condition. There are simple checks like checking the water, checking the lights, checking whether the electronics of the vehicle are working, making sure that your vehicle is in good condition, it's roadworthy. Many people don't do that. Many people just get into their cars and drive off. Remember, this is a machine and it can fail at any time. So it is very important for you as a driver to make sure that your car is in good condition. Secondly, you as a driver also need to have what we call proper documentation. Isikuwe ni kama you've bought your license and you do not follow. You need to keep abreast of all the traffic law changes that are happening. Over the last 5 years, you realize some streets in Nairobi that were dual carriageway now are one-way streets. You'll find yourself driving opposite on a road that you're driving opposite because it has already been changed. The other thing as a driver you should know is that cars have also evolved. You'd find Kitambo, they were manual shift gears. Now it is auto gear. Past that, we have cars that have Tiptronic gears, and some of these cars are supercharged. They have supercharged turbos, the Subarus. So you cannot move from driving a manual car to a Subaru and expect to have a smooth drive. You need to accustom yourself to that machine that you're driving and making sure that you understand it. When I come back to a driver's responsibility, you'll find drivers are driving using their phones. Others are continually changing radio stations. You're playing with the switches on you're putting AC on, AC off. Some of these things you need to do when you have stopped. So that as long as you're on the road driving, your concentration, 100% concentration, is controlling the machine that you're driving to get to your destination.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, just last week on Sunday, an accident happened just here, and it was quite funny. How did it occur? Because as they say, an accident takes a few seconds of your time, and then
fraction of a
you
second.
are done. And some of these things, as you have said, they could be mechanical or human negligence. Let me speak of long distance drivers. They have checked their vehicles, everything is okay, but there's one thing that they ignore, and that is arrest, because they have self-belief. I have worked, like, assuming now you say, I have worked for 24 years, I know everything, I know every as in, how do we educate these people? Doesn't matter how long you have been into the game, embrace new changes, know anything can happen to you. How do you speak to these people?
The number one killer on our roads today is fatigue. When it comes to long distance, someone is hauling a container from Mombasa, and the owner of the container wants it, for example, in Kigali, in 3 days.
Right.
And this guy drives from Mombasa all the way to past Nairobi because he needs to, as I mentioned earlier, meet a target.
Yeah.
One of the things that this driver should do is have rests. When we do training, we normally ask drivers to drive for 2 hours, take a 5-minute break. You can have your soda, you can have your tea, you can have your smoke, whatever it is that gives you energy, and then drive on again. Please do not drive 4 hours continuously without rest, because fatigue checks in and it doesn't come knocking.
Yeah.
You'll just find yourself drowsing, and you're gone. And the moment now fatigue checks in and your mind starts closing up, your eyes are drowsy, that's when accidents happen. I believe most transport companies have now embarked on a serious training program for their drivers.
Right.
They are being told, drive for certain hours, take a rest. For long distance drivers, I know for a fact that some of these truckers are sort of well behaved.
Now, speaking of so many things or accidents happening in our country, from your side, what do you think should be done to see, leave alone the NTSA rules and everything else? What is that thing that we have been missing for so long, that we have seen people lose their lives, others becoming permanently disabled because of road accidents? What is that one thing you feel, or two things you feel that this one, if it was done, everything would be fine?
Attitude. All drivers must change their attitudes towards their work. You should make sure that you respect yourself to make sure that you are safe on the road, because I believe if you guarantee your own safety on the road, you've guaranteed the safety of all other road users. But if you don't care, you have a big ego, you're driving a big car. You've noticed that some of these drivers who drive big cars, they sort of tend to push the small cars out of the road.
Yeah.
And I've seen it a lot with the VXs and the VITs. The VX will come and push the VITs out of the road. The Matatus will come and push the small cars out of the road. We need to change our attitude. No training, no trainer will come and change the way you drive if you cannot change your own attitude. We only need to respect our lives, respect yourself as a driver, then you'll be able to respect others on the road.
As we wind up, because someone would be like, you're speaking of road safety, we all have our lives. If I'm traveling to Kisumu, if I need 4 hours, 6 hours, I'll just drive and I'm okay. And someone would be like, what's the essence really? What's the importance of road safety if I can go where I want and come back? I've been going and coming back. Forgetting doesn't matter, like I said, for how long you've been into the game. What is the importance of having road safety in mind and in action?
What I normally say, at your destination, where you're going, that destination can be divided into 3 places. It can be divided into a hospital, it can be divided into a morgue, and it can be divided into the destination you're going. Now, the way you drive determines how you'll get to your destination. You can arrive at your destination well.
Right.
You may not arrive at your destination and your body is taken to a mortuary, or you can be taken to a hospital because you've caused an accident. It is up to you to decide where you want to end up, your destination, the morgue, or the hospital.
Well, that's quite profound. Let me get your final comments as we wind up on this topic. Your final comments.
As I said earlier, safety begins with you as a driver in everything you do. And I always say choices have consequences. If you choose to drive carelessly, overspeed, overload, break traffic laws, it's your life you're going to lose. I always give this analogy. You can imagine if you're driving carelessly to an extent where it is guaranteed that you're going to be involved in an accident. If you were to be removed from the picture,
Right.
who suffers? Your family, your friends, your colleagues. So many people end up suffering. There's a joke that he said, when a stupid person dies, it's not him that feels the pain, it's his friends. So you being the driver, you need to make sure that you guarantee your own safety on the road, and that way you're guaranteeing the safety of all the other road users. I would really be happy to know that attitude has changed in drivers. I know it's difficult, but at some point we have to change this attitude. No training will change the way I behave on the road. It's only myself. But if I change my attitude towards my driving, then I'll be a safe driver.
Yeah, there's a question coming in, and many people wonder why when accidents happen, 90% of them, the drivers escape uninjured. What happens?
When you're driving a car and you see kabisa, you're going to have an accident. What normally happens, you drive away. You sort of swerve away from the impending hazard that you're going to knock. And I think it is instinct. It is instinct. No one wants to really get into an accident unless you're suicidal. So you'll sort of drive away from that thing that you're going to hit. And normally we send the passengers as SMSs, and then we walk away. But that should not be. You should not get yourself to a point where you're trying to save your own life. You need to save the lives of everyone that you're carrying and every other person that is using the road.
All right, many thanks for coming and sharing your views and your knowledge on how we should ensure road safety, especially now that we're looking forward to the festive season 3 months from now. We're hoping a few Kenyans have learned something and they will have shared to the friends and family members. He has been my guest, Michael Kabuthia, and thank you so much for keeping us company. Coming up next is Y Mashariki. See you on Friday. My name is Dereva. Have a good night.